What if the word immigrate stopped meaning an endless paper chase and started meaning a normal Tuesday afternoon? Picture yourself landing at a modest airport, clearing passport control in minutes, and hearing the clerk explain, with genuine warmth, that you can open a bank account tomorrow morning, register for national health care next week, and pick up your new residency card before your boarding pass from the United States has even finished wrinkling in your back pocket. Sound too cinematic to be true? 10 nations on 3 continents have quietly engineered immigration rules that treat Americans with a valid passport and a transparent background check like welcomed long-term guests rather than probationary tourists. Forget the vocabulary of visa runs, border hops, and status anxiety. In each of the following destinations, the law itself states that you may apply for and begin enjoying permanent or near-permanent status from day one. The paperwork is light, the financial thresholds are modest, and the door remains wide open regardless of age. All you need is the will to trade familiar interstates for new coastlines, new currencies, and new versions of yourself. Dawn in Montevideo. Smells of sea salt, roasted mate, and something subtler. Stability you can taste. Immigration here is handled by the Dirección Nacional de Migración, whose clerk will stamp a temporary ID into your passport the moment you announce your intention to reside. You can then open a local bank account, the famous Caja de Ahorros, that Uruguayans treat with near religious respect, and file for the Cédula de Identidad. No law prescribes a minimum income, yet case officers like to see proof of about US $2,500 a month, Social Security, rental yields, a digital nomad salary, anything steady. While you wait, typically 6 to 9 months, you're already allowed to rent, buy property, enroll in the public or private health systems, and even import household goods duty-free. Crime is low, the press is free, and inflation stays tame by Latin American standards. Many newcomers insist life in small-city Uruguay feels uncannily like small-town Minnesota, circa 1985, minus the blizzards and plus Atlantic beaches that unfurl for hundreds of uncluttered miles. Asunción wakes up with pink sunrises over the Rio Paraguay and the sound of tereré thermoses hissing in every plaza. It also happens to offer the most old-school, paper-thin residency threshold in the hemisphere. Bring us $5,000, deposit it in a local bank in your own name, and you qualify for the Carnet de Radicación Permanente. The money stays under your control. Withdraw it the same afternoon if you like, because the law cares more about intent than investment. 3 visits to the capital's migration directorate, a chest x-ray, and an FBI background check translated into Spanish, and you are done. Retirees rent airy apartments for US $300 a month, buy baskets of tropical produce for pocket change, and live among Paraguayans who still greet strangers with "Buen dia, vecino," as if the 20th century never quite hardened into the 21st. Summers are steamy, traffic calm, and Guarani hospitality legendary. Tbilisi's Art Nouveau balconies and sulfur bath steam form a vapor trail to the easiest foothold in the Caucasus. Americans receive a 365-day entry stamp automatically. During that entire year, they may file for permanent residency, a status based not on capital, but on consistency, prove roughly US $2,200 a month in outside income, or show a modest local work contract. And the Public Service Hall issues a residence card within weeks. Taxes on foreign pensions are zero. Fiber optic internet hums through Soviet-era apartments that rent for US $400 with hilltop views of the funicular. Wine flows from taps in village cellars, English is common in cafes, and the Global Peace Index ranks Georgia higher for personal safety than many Schengen members. Winter ski slopes and Black Sea summers sit 3 hours apart on brand new highways bankrolled by the World Bank. 20 non-stop flights from the United States touch down in Mexico every hour. But most travelers never learn a quirk of Mexican law. The temporary resident card, valid up to 4 years, can be requested before arrival and swapped for permanent resident status after that first cycle without additional income proof. The initial hurdle? Demonstrate monthly income of roughly US 2,600 or show US $43,000 in savings for the past year. Social Security deposits or IRA statements usually suffice. A consular sticker, a quick biometrics appointment at I&M offices in Oaxaca or Merida, and suddenly you possess a CURP number, a national ID, and access to IMSS public health care. For about US $600 a year, retirees in colonial highland towns spend US $1,200 a month on total life expenses, eat mangoes by the kilo, and fly home for holidays in 3 hours or less. The Panama-Friendly Nations visa once demanded a trivial US $5,000 bank deposit and a letter promising to start a Panamanian company. Reforms in 2022 tweaked the rules but kept the process painless. Americans now supply proof of a remote salary or pension around US $1,000, sign a lease or property deed, and let a lawyer shepherd the file through Servicio Nacional de Migración. Within 6 months, you hold an e-cedula, valid indefinitely once converted to the permanent stage. Foreign source income is exempt from Panamanian tax, so your Social Security arrives untouched. The isthmus itself delivers rainforest mornings, Pacific sunsets and malls where you can pay in dollars, legal tender since 1904. Hospitals accredited by Johns Hopkins charge $25 for specialist visits. A full coverage private policy costs less than your old Part B premium. Golden visas hog headlines, but Portugal's D7 passive income route is the true democratizer. Show a recurring deposit equal to Portugal's minimum wage, about $820 per month, and rent a flat for a year. The consulate stamps a 4-month entry visa, SEF in Lisbon swaps it for a 2-year residency card, and after 5 years you may request citizenship and an EU passport. Until then, you travel Schengen at will. A retiree in Coimbra spends $100 a month on riverside living, public healthcare contributions included. The World Health Organization ranks the Servicio Nacional de Saúde among the globe's top 10, and Internations surveys place Portugal first worldwide for feeling at home as a foreigner. English is widespread, natas costa euro, and train lines thread vineyards, surf towns, and medieval castles like pearls on an easy string. Altitude defines Ecuador, Pacific mist at sea level, Andean sun in Quito, Amazon humidity beyond. The pensioner visa, technically dubbed the jubilado category, grants immediate permanent residency if you can prove US $1,275 a month in lifelong income. Social Security award letters, notarized and apostilled, do the trick. The cedula follows in 6 to 8 weeks, and with it come half-price domestic flights, amusement park admissions, and utility bills. Benefits enshrined in Ecuador's Constitution for anyone over 65. In Cuenca, a UNESCO city of cobblestones and cathedral domes, you'll pay US $500 for a furnished 2-bedroom and less than US $100 for a full suite of utilities, fiber internet included. Public hospitals charge a few dollars per visit. Private dental cleanings cost $15. Spanish lessons? $10 an hour, taught by patient teachers who greet you like family after the second class. 3 hours from Miami, the DR greets you with mangrove lagoons and a residency path that can finish before your tourist visa expires. Applicants over 50 can seek the pensionado category. Show us $1,500 a month in retirement income and deposit US $2,000 in a local account. Hire a lawyer for under US $1,200, hand over birth and marriage certificates, and migration authorities stamp a provisional card almost immediately. The permanent card follows in about 8 months, giving you right to import household goods duty-free and to enroll in ARS private insurance, roughly US $60 a month for retirees. Cabaret in Las Terrenas host thriving English-speaking communities, where beach condos rent for US $650 and mahi-mahi fillets cost $3 a pound. A Caribbean life with Medicare-level doctors and same-day flights back to JFK feels less like escape, more like upgrade. Nestled between Persia's poetry and Russia's reach, Armenia practices a hospitality so old it predates borders. Americans receive a 180-day stamp on arrival. During that half year, you can request a 1-year residency card at the passport and visa department in Yerevan. No income proof required. Extend twice, and the third card can be issued for 5 years, effectively permanent. Apartments near. The Opera House run US $350, cappuccinos 80 cents, and high mountain air comes free. The dram is stable. The tech sector buzzes with startup capital drawn by zero tax-free economic zones. Healthcare visits at Nairi Medical Center cost $20, delivered by English-speaking physicians trained in France. Walkable streets. Soviet metro stations and weekly folk dances in Republic Square turn each evening into a documentary about finding joy after simplicity. The Balkans end their mountain chain in a valley where Lake Ohrid gleams cobalt under Byzantine monasteries. North Macedonia rewards foreigners who invest in property, any property at any price, with renewable temporary residency that upgrades to permanent at the 5-year mark. Studio flats in Bitola list for US $28,000. A one-time purchase plus proof you visited the country at least twice a year keeps your status alive. Skopje, the capital, hosts jazz festivals under Ottoman stone bridges and charges 25 cents for a city bus ride. Retirees dine on burek and organic tomatoes for dollars a day, and private clinic specialists bill $30 per appointment. Local law exempts most foreign pensions from Macedonian tax, and the climate balances Mediterranean olive groves against alpine ski runs within a 2-hour drive. Few Americans have arrived, yet, which means English-speaking residents gain pioneer status, greeted with neighborly curiosity and the freedom to shape community life from the ground up. With 17, 10 nations, 10 separate legal codes, 1 shared. Philosophy. Residency needn't be a privilege withheld behind high gates. In each of these places, the stamped passport acts like a handshake, and the first step off the jet bridge doubles as the first step into permanence. The only remaining paperwork is personal, deciding which sunrise, which language, and which cost of living line item will color the next act of your life story.